Kagoshima, 8 o'clock p.m. A phone rings, getting the attention of Kisaraga. She rushes over and picks it up. Yes? Kisaraga, it's Shindo. I need Watanabe, Nakanishi, and Hayama to come back to Shinjuku. What for? They got a new assignment. Get them up here, pronto. Sapporo Hokkaido. A colonel walks into the room. Kone! Doi! Ma'am! You've been summoned back to Shinjuku. Don't ask, just get there. Ginza, Tokyo. Both Miki and Kazuma Sakusa step out of a clothing store. Upon doing so, a private is waiting for them. Excuse me, you two are summoned to HQ. It's time already? Miki, way ahead of you. Already emitting green aura from her body, Miki lifts herself and Kazuma in the air. They fly off into the direction of their home in Minato before heading to Shinjuku. 8:34 p.m. In the Shinjuku HQ itself, Terusawa, Ito, and Kujo are the first ones to arrive, stepping out of the elevator to the underground facility. But they notice something strange. What the hell? There's less people than before. Maybe most of them got the day shift. So why are we being summoned? Over here! The voice of the telekinetic empress grabs their attention. They spot her near a set of doors, waving her hands. They rush over to her. Quick, inside! The three get in and the door is shut. Before them is a square room. Miss Sakusa, what's going on? It's something big. How big is it? Very. The room suddenly moves sideways. The horizontal elevator travels down the long corridor. Akari, Kaijo, and Emilia do not know where it is taking them, but they cannot focus on that now. Finally, moments later, it begins to slow down. Then, it comes to a halt. Phew. Okay, we're here. Okay, that was a bit nuts. Where are we anyway? Right this way. The wall on the other side splits open. It reveals an empty large room. They step through and look all around them. The ceiling lights are shining downwards and a long table of different food and drinks is displayed. What is this? A party? Not quite. Just wait here. The others are coming in a few hours. Others? Midnight. All of the soldiers who had been in the 30th Training Battalion are present and reunited once more. To everyone, it is very confusing on why they are here, nor have any idea. Hey, Emmy. Oh my god, are you feeling okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Had to go through radiation treatment, but I'm feeling better now. Hey, I'm fine too. Kujo walks up to Hayama. Hey, you good? Yeah, I'm fine. Are you sure? After what happened, I thought you would have... Akari, I'm fine. Really. All right. She pats him on the back and walks away from him. The door to the horizontal elevator opens. Shindo and the Sakusa steps through. Attention! Upon hearing the call, the soldiers fall silent, stands in formation, and puts their hands behind their backs. The three stands in front of them. All of their faces are staring forward. Not much has changed in the past few months. Welcome. It's been a while since we've seen you all. Now, you might be wondering why you are being summoned from your units in different prefectures all the way back to Tokyo. Let me provide you with some context. Last month, as you are aware, there was a situation in Kagoshima. 3 of you were there, and you have the report of what happened. It was very unfortunate that you had to go through that, but I'm very grateful that you survived. But we cannot and should not ignore the outcome of what actually happened. For the past few days, there is a major debate between the House of Representatives and the Senate. The Prime Minister had finally gained permission from the government to restart a long, but not forgotten, project. He slowly paces back and forth. In April of 2000, when Godzilla III disappeared 3 months prior, then Prime Minister Yoshiro Mori feared that without something to ward off any kaiju, the country would be in a precarious situation. Fortunately, it was around that time when the global rebirth was taking off. The Minister of Defense authorized the construction of a new weapon, one that will be a deterrence against kaiju. All was going well until 2007, when the lack of Element 223 and other resources made it very clear that it would not see the light of day, and so it was cancelled. But then, in March of 2010, Godzilla III returned. Soon afterwards, the Niburians arrived on Earth. After the Battle of San Francisco, the world was suddenly filled with more Element 223 as well as Niburian tech. And believe it or not, those aliens are allowing us humans to keep it. No price needed. Sir, pardon the interruption, but what kind of project is it? I'm getting to that. Prime Minister Noda gave the green light, as I said. It was because of the increase in element 223 that Project G can resume its current trajectory. What is Project G, you might be asking? He stops in place. The wall behind him splits open from top to bottom. See for yourself. The man, as well as the Sagusas, steps aside. The soldiers get closer to the unveiling wall. A large glass window sits in front of them, and they stop near it. A pair of mechanical feet sits on the ground. The metal only goes up to the knees, and the bones are revealed. A skeleton takes its familiar shape. One that shocks those seeing it for the first time. A skeleton of a kaiju that stands in a mere 125 meters is propped up by thick wires attached to the head, shoulders, and back. The walls gives way to reveal the skeleton in full view. What the f? Wait, is that Godzilla? Yes, it is. What you are looking at is the skeleton of Godzilla the First. The soldiers turns to him. Hold on, Godzilla the First? I thought his skeleton was on display in the AMF museum. No, that one was just for tourists. This is the real deal. Though sneaking a bunch of bones out of the museum and replacing them was a pain in the ass. Sir, what are you planning on doing with... Don't tell me. You're going to create a weapon out of the bones of Godzilla? A Mechagodzilla? That is f***ing awesome. Yeah, it is, but I have a few questions. Ask away. We got the material from those Niburian ships, okay? But how the hell are you planning on powering this thing? Something like this can't be powered by gas or diesel because that would be a nightmare. And if it runs on radiation, then we might as well be looking at another Fukushima if it gets destroyed. We planned ahead on that. Some American scientists and some of ours discovered a new chemical from the Niburian battlecruiser Might. It turns out that it's created by melting down metal made from element 223 and combining it with natural chemicals such as gasoline, diesel, and methane. After further research, it is determined and confirmed that it is more efficient, more everlasting, and more safer than normal radiation. They even gave it a name, atomic number 120, symbol NM, atomic mass 15.2, element name Niborium. How long does it last? 40,000 years, and Niborium is completely safe to be around and touch, unlike radiation. The soldiers' eyes widen and their jaws drop. What the f? How are we not using that in our everyday lives? Look, the Agency for Natural Resources and Energy is working on distributing it throughout Japan and abroad. Aside from that, we have enough to fuel Mechagodzilla. The material is here, and we got some advisors to show us how to use it properly. He turns his head. Ah, that's them over there. The men and women turn back. They catch two Niburians walking in front of the unfinished mech with the researchers taking notes from them. What the hell? What are they doing here? Hold on, before you jump the gun, hear me out. They agreed to help us. That includes the Americans and the Chinese. Why? Because they saw our need for protection. And so they offered their assistance in exchange for fighting some of their rogues for them. But I'll leave that to the spies. Now then, here is the reason why all of you have been summoned. We need a large group of soldiers with a lot of experience. We need a group of soldiers that can get the job done. We need a division spearheaded by groups of tanks, a battle carrier fleet, heavy infantry, and the Type 3 Mechagodzilla, the leading machine of the Kiryu-Class battle mech. Kiryu? Machine and Dragon. Oh, okay, I see it. Wait, Kiryu-Class? There's going to be more? In due time, but we'll be focusing on the one. So, what do you say? A very interesting proposition. The soldiers think about it. The prospect of being a unit that is comprised of the first human-operated mech. But questions are bound to be made. Sir, how many operators does Mechagodzilla need? 2 pilots, 2 gunners, and 1 defense operator. Though one of those pilots is going to have to be the commander. Every head turns to Emilia Terasawa. Huh? What? What? Why me? You're the most capable out of all of us. Hell, the training shows that. Are you kidding me? How am I supposed to pilot a mech? Terasawa, I understand your mentality. Takada hadn't told you this, but you managed to become even greater than what you were before. If you can lead a battalion into battle through a simulation, then you can lead a brigade into battle. You could decline if you want, but know this. No one else has that kind of leadership skills than you. Such encouraging words from the general. All right, I'll do it. Only if my friends get to be pilots. I call being a gunner. I'll take it too. Really? I think you'd be better on defense. Oh, off. I'm not that bad, says the same woman who couldn't kick a football for more than 5 meters ahead of her. What? You? Fine. General, I would like to be a co-pilot. They looked to him shocked, yet concerned. Wait, are you sure? After what we went through, I want to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And I want to make my brother proud. It's something that he would have wanted. Kujo's eyes darts to the floor. That's very noble of you, Hayama. But you'd be better suited as a gunner along with Ito. And besides, I've already picked out a co-pilot for Terasawa. Isn't that right, Miki Sakusa? What? What? Everyone else has the same reaction. Excuse us, we'll be right back. Her body is covered in green aura that it engulfs the general himself. They fly into the horizontal elevator and the doors shuts behind them. Okay. Who's going to be the mechanics? Inside of the elevator, it does not move. The green aura disappears and the general stands on his feet. Phew! Last time you did that, I was 10 years old. His eyes locks into Miki. She has her arms crossed, left foot tapping, and looking very annoyed. What? Shinsuke, have you lost your mind? I told you I wasn't interested. I'm sorry to say, but you don't have a choice in the matter. Well, too bad, because I do. Miki, I told you I didn't want to do it. I don't feel comfortable piloting Sakusa. Enough. Staring into his eyes, he is being very serious. I get it. You still have friendly feelings towards Godzilla. Dad told me about that. But look at what happened. Over 88,000 people are dead because of him. He's not some naive infant anymore. He's a full-grown adult. Hell, he's sentient. He knows what's right and wrong. And he knows if he attacks us, we'll defend ourselves, and vice versa. This isn't 1994 anymore. Look at what we're dealing with. Several kaiju are breaking out or set free all over the world, and it has 3 titans roaming about. If this continues, then we're plain and simple. I know that, but I just think that there has to be another way. There is no other way. Like I said, he knows what he did. If he attacks us again, then that's it. We're viewing him as an enemy. And it's going to be 1984 all over again. You would know. You were there. Even after 28 years, the memories of what happened on that night is something that even Miki would never forget. She lowers her head. Listen, I'm not just telling you to be a co-pilot because it's an order. I'm telling you to be a co-pilot just so that this doesn't happen again. I get that you personally don't want to hurt him, but when push comes to shove, you gotta put your foot down. You once told my father that you wanted to prevent Godzilla II from taking any more lives. You still hold those feelings, do you? She lightly nods her head. He places his hand on her right shoulder. Then, this is your opportunity. You may or may not have to fight him, but it's a way for him to not be alone in dealing with kaiju. Please, do it for Kazuma, for me, for everyone. Her instincts are telling her to not accept it, but the points that Shinsuke brings up are valid. More and more lives will be taken away by accident or purposefully unless something is done about it. I'll do it. Thank you. The two steps out of the elevator, seeing everyone standing around Kazuma. Oh, just in time. I wrote down the names of everyone's roles. So, then Miki, Emilia, you got your co-pilot. Hearing her words causes Terasawa to smile. Well, I guess I'll go clean toilets. I don't think so, Major General Kazuma. Excuse me? That's right. You got promoted. You're leading these people. Speaking of leading, Terasawa, can you handle leading a brigade? I'm being promoted as colonel? That's right. Do you feel comfortable? I can get used to it, yes sir. Good. From this day forward, you will be known as the 1st Armored Mech Division, or the Kiryu Division. Your new training begins next week. Dismissed. With the decision made, Japan is about to begin constructing the first human-made mech, but with it comes more logistic issues. In the Prime Minister's residence, the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the PM's cabinet discuss such matter. So, what you're saying is, we need more bases? Well, not bases specifically, but facilities that act as repair stations. And I agree with him. Mr. Maeda, how many would that require? I'd say at least one facility per prefecture. Are you out of your mind? That's gonna cost a fortune! And here we go. At the very least, one facility will cost at least 20 million yen. Doing all 47 will bankrupt us! Didn't the person before you say that exact same thing and he was proven wrong? That's not the point, General. I'm saying that we can't keep building things that aren't necessary. Oh, so you want to have our anti-kaiju weapon left stranded on a mountain or in the middle of a forest? Azumi stops himself from saying another word. Look, I never said we should do this on our own. I was thinking that we could get help from the outside. That's not a good idea. We can't risk Mongol spies getting involved. Good point. Well, regardless of what the price is, Azumi, we're going to have to build them. General, when can you start? In 2 days' time. Our mechanics are ready. Good luck. March 22nd, 2012. Within the underground facility, the materials are in place, the equipment is all set up, Project G resumes. The construction workers begins their work, starting off with the legs. April 10th. Mechagodzilla reaches 15% completion. Miki Sakusa shows her co-pilot footage of Godzilla II as well as footage of Godzilla I. She demonstrates the movements and attack patterns of both creatures. Terasawa takes notes, then adds that she should study movements of natural animals at zoo such as bears, crocodiles, and sharks, something that Miki agrees with. April 30th. Mechagodzilla reaches 20% completion. Within the private underground facility, the design from the mech's weapon systems are finalized. At the same time, the final design from the naval railguns are set. The measurements are single-mounted 20-inch and 16-inch gun turrets with no caliber needed. In Yokosuka, the construction of smaller ships begins. May 22nd. Mechagodzilla reaches 45% completion. Its interior takes its shape along with the rocket boosters attached to it. Miki and Terasawa practice the movements of both Godzillas using their own bodies. At the same time, Ito and Hayama takes notes on how each weapon system is going to be used. Kujo, meanwhile, is absorbing the testing of the defense shield and the armor plating of the mech. The rest of the 1st Armored Mech Division returns to the Kaiju Warfare Simulator to retrain for joint operations with land, air, and sea units, as well as how to operate with the machine. July 2nd. Mechagodzilla reaches 60% completion. Tests are conducted 70 miles, 110 kilometers off the Japanese eastern coast. The test weapon fires. A beam of pure energy shoots out of the barrel and it splashes into the waters of the Pacific. The officers looks to the power meter. The level recharges after 5 seconds. All of the systems within the ship are still operational. The test is complete. The railgun is ready for full production. Meanwhile, on land, 2 pairs of railgun prototypes are placed on mounts. Both Hayama and Ito watches. The test begins. The 2 railguns opens fire. The burst of lasers hits the targets 100 yards, disintegrating them almost instantly. The test is complete. Both Ito and Hayama smile and nod to each other. August 12th. Mechagodzilla reaches 90% completion. The interior of the machine, the cockpit, computers, and an onboard artificial intelligence are being installed. In the shipyards, American and Japanese ships are being commissioned into their respective fleets, along with their capital ships being upgraded. In every prefecture, the repair facilities are near their completion. The 1st Armored Mech Division are called in for a review. All of them are prime and ready for duty. Finally, Mechagodzilla reaches 100% completion 3 months ahead of schedule. New Year's Day, 2013, 10 o'clock a.m. On an airfield, the cameras roll. Feeds are broadcasting live throughout Japan and the rest of the world. In the UN HQ, every ambassador watches with bated breath. In Mongolia, the Empress sits in her chair with a bottle of water next to her. In China, Jinping and his government watches in the Great Hall of the People. The new Japanese Prime Minister steps in front of the cameras with his hands behind his back. Hello everyone, I'm Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. I would like to talk to you for a few minutes. For the past few months, you may have noticed that we have been very busy. And you might be asking, what have you been working on? Well, allow me to show you, rather than tell you. The camera feed cuts. It shows the vast waters of the Pacific. The camera zooms out. A man in a white uniform comes into frame. I'm Dennis Grinchico, Vice Admiral of the U.S. Navy on board the battle carrier USS Missouri. For the past few months, after the destruction of the Gensensha, we have been studying new ways of protecting and providing firepower for the U.S. and Japanese fleets. And of course, everyone knows that we have been building new dockyards in the States for brand new ships. And that we did. So, allow me to present to you our new vessels of the U.S. Navy. The camera pans to the right. The aforementioned ships comes into frame. Introducing first, the St. Louis-class cruiser. St. Louis, Raleigh, Davenport, and Houston. Montgomery and Boston are still under construction, and 5 more are on the way. Like the Ticonderogas, they have VLS systems, but they are the new Mark 42 instead of the 41. The difference is that the 42s can launch multiple type missiles in one mission, offensive and defensive. And there is also a new weapon system, the 8-inch 50 caliber heavyweight autocannon. Indeed, it is a heavy cruiser class, like the Des Moines class heavies of World War II. Heavy cruisers? A bit odd, but alright. The camera pans over to another set of new vessels. Next are the Sullivan-class destroyers, the Sullivan, Halsey, Briggs, Chingley, King, Henderson, and Fletcher. 5 are undergoing trials, and the other 35 are under construction. Like the heavy cruisers, they are equipped with the new Mark 42 VLS systems. Next to the destroyers is the reintroduction of these slightly smaller ships, the Constellation-class frigates. Constellation, Congress, Chesapeake, Lafayette, and Hamilton. The other 15 will be complete and join the fleet. But it's not just us who have created new ships. Admiral? The camera cuts to the Admiral of the JMSDF and JAMF. Thank you. I'm Jotaro Shindo, Admiral of the Japan Anti-Megalosaurus Force and Maritime Self-Defense Force. Behind me are the new Akizuki-class destroyers. These ships, like the American ships, are equipped with the Mark 42 VLS system. Now, in terms of our battle carriers, we have something new to show you all. Cameraman, if you please. The cameraman turns the camera itself to the left. It faces the forward bow of the battle carrier Hoshi Shirogane. Right away, the onlookers notices that one of the main cannons is missing. The one turret turns to 90 degrees to starboard. The new 20-inch Mark I railgun elevates to 5 degrees. The design is different from the previous. It only has one barrel and the turret itself is smaller. The cannon charges up. Then it fires. A beam of red pure energy is unleashed. It travels across the air, above the water, and hits the target, a no supply ship 115 miles, 184 kilometers away. The laser travels at the speed of Mach 50, then penetrates through the hull outside of the starboard side. As the laser fades, the ship explodes. Target hit. The viewers are stunned, shocked, and impressed by the display. Not bad. What the hell? What you saw was a demonstration of the new Type 1 20-inch railgun. The Americans have their 16-inch Mark Is. Speaking of which, it's time to show how we managed to create a new protection system. And honestly, I wish I was as brave as those men. Take a look. The camera cuts. The footage was filmed on December 18, 2012 on the destroyer Congo. The island of Mechagodzilla lies before them. The battle carriers Missouri and Wisconsin are sailing at 12 knots, 10 miles, 16 kilometers away. A hydrogen ray fires. The blast smashes onto an invisible barrier covering and protecting the ships themselves. It stops. The camera zooms in. Godzilla III stands on the beach. Around him are craters created from the ship's railguns. He inhales and roars, telling the humans to never attack the island again. He turns around, heading back into the jungle. Once again, the audience is stunned. Okay, what just happened? The camera cuts to Jotaro's brother, who stands in the command center in Shinjuku. He walks slowly as the camera follows him. What you witnessed is the Type 24 protection barrier, or to the Americans, the Mark 24. It can deflect shells, missiles, and energy-based attacks from enemy ships and kaiju. Case in point with the latter, it was able to block Godzilla's hydrogen ray. And I'm sure that our partners in China will be having their systems online right about now. Balama enters the Empress's room. Your Majesty! What is it? The Chinese just unveiled a new weapon system. What? The camera feed cuts back to Prime Minister Abe, grabbing their attention once more. And there you have it. All of our new systems and ships have been showcased. I hope our allies enjoyed it, and our enemies should be aware of what we are capable of. Oh, go yourself! She reaches for the remote and aims it at the TV. But there's one more thing we would like to showcase. For decades, we've been struggling with dealing with kaiju for the better part of almost 60 years, possibly even longer. We had developed many tactics and strategies, but none seemed to have worked. But then, it got us thinking. Instead of trying to thwart kaiju as we are, why not become them and thwart them that way? And that we did. So, for our final presentation, we would like to introduce you to our new anti-kaiju defense weapon. A metal foot plants onto the ground, followed by another. The camera pans up and zooms out. The giant machine stops in its tracks. At last, the mechanical creation, one that Japan has been working on for months, is finally showcased to the world at large. And the reactions differs. Dear God. Holy hell! Oh my God. You sneaky, cheeky bastards. There it is. My word, they are learning fast. Impressive looking mech. Oh, you've got to be f***ing kidding me! Hello all. Kazuma Sugusa, Major General of the Japan Anti-Megalosaurus Force and leader of the 1st Armored Mech Division. This is the Kiryu-Class battle mech, the Type 3 Mechagodzilla. 125 meters in height and made from top secret material that we cannot reveal but can reveal the interior. Let's take a look. The feed cuts to a camera locked inside of the cockpit. A hatch opens. The pilots and operators, in gray, skin-tight suits with small patches of armor, enters. Kujo sits in her seat in the front. Ito and Hayama sits in separate seats on the left and right. Terasawa and Mickey steps up to a foot-high platform. A screen pops up in front of them as the monitors turns on. A single word is displayed. Register. TMSKIH. Confirmed. Welcome, operators and pilots. The power within the cockpit turns on. The monitors in front of Kujo, Ito, and Hayama shows the model of the mech itself. Defenses, green. Protective armor, 100%. Primary weapon system check, green. Secondary guided and unguided munitions, green. Both Mickey and Amelia extends their arms out. Blue grid lines forms under their feet. A line crosses their bodies from side to side. Then it stops. Scan complete. Initiating pilot mode. The two, in sync with their movements, lowers their arms to the sides. Disengaging autopilot in 3, 2, 1, 0. The screen in front of the pilots changes to the point of view of the mech. In full control, the two simultaneously lifts their arms up to 90 degrees. The mech performs the same movements as the pilots do. As you can see, it can operate with 2 pilots, 2 gunners, and 1 defense operator. Here are the specifications for Mechagodzilla. Twin-mounted Type 0 railguns on the wrists. That thing that looks like a jetpack is actually that, but it also fires both the 680mm Type 89 multiple interlocking rockets, MIRs, and the 470mm Type 95 multi-purpose guided missiles, MPGMs. Its armor can withstand even the strongest Category 5 Titan, such as Godzilla himself. Its power level can rise up to 10.5 if need be with a simple command. The power source is a closely guarded secret, but it can keep this thing running up to 10,000 years, which is very helpful for its rocket boosters. So we can take on anything that dares to step foot on our home islands. You sound very sure of that. And you may have noticed that it was able to act on its own. Here are our scientists to explain. The camera cuts to the scientists in lab coats. The frame of Mechagodzilla is built from the bones of Godzilla I. The creature may be dead for nearly 60 years, but its DNA remained intact. Through previous research on said kaiju, as well as Godzilla II, we were able to calculate what it would take to fuse the former's DNA with artificial intelligence. We carefully merged both artificial intelligence and the DNA of Godzilla I. Through various tests, he was able to cooperate with us and the pilots within the cockpit. Only they can be able to operate it. In terms of power, like the Major General said, it is a closely guarded secret. But we can reveal to you that with frequent uses, we can be able to power the whole country and possibly the entire world. A new power source that will replace radioactivity forever. GB leans back in his chair, smiling. Not bad, Japan. Not bad at all. And we'll be following you very soon.